matchday tingle down the spine is back. There is no feeling like it. Weekends feel like weekends again, except this time, bigger, better. And there are very few cities feeling like this city is feeling right now. Oxford United's wait, that seemingly never-ending wait to play in the second tier again, is over. A quarter of a century has passed, but now the day is here. Let's take a check on the teams for you. And May's Wembley hero Josh Murphy left the club in the summer. Coming in is former Norwich City winger Shami Pueheta, who makes his Oxford debut. As does Will Vauxhall, who turned down a new deal at Sheffield Wednesday in the summer. His experience could be key for Oxford. And his presence means that the influential Cameron Brannigan can move further forward when Oxford have the ball. New signing Malcolm Abue is on the bench, but Matt Phillips is not yet ready. Well, Johannes Torup had to change his team 20 minutes before this morning's team meeting when Jonathan Rowe made himself unavailable. We're told he doesn't feel he's in the right headspace to play, and that is amid speculation that Marseille made a bid for him last night. So Christian Fastnack comes in as Rowe was told to head home. There's a debut for Callum Doyle at left-back. He will move in to become a third centre-back when Norwich have the ball. Adam Eder, who Celtic are trying to sign, is part of the matchday squad, and he is on the bench. So Cameron Brannigan was running the show for Oxford United last season in League One. Andy, how important is he to this team?
Well, it's hugely important. I think the challenge for Cameron Brannigan is to be as influential in the Championship as he was in League One. He's not just a creative spark and a great penalty taker. His possession one ranking there shows how effective he is off the ball. He's combative, aggressive. He's an all-round midfielder. Brannigan staying and signing a new deal was such good news for Oxford and Des Buckingham. And Gabi Sara has gone, Johnny Rowe seemingly going. The need for Josh Sargent to stay just grows. Norwich will hope the summer break hasn't slowed him down. He's had a prolific 2024 so far. A couple of goals today will maybe just lift the gloom that's settling over Norwich with all these attacking departures.
The local hero is home. Des Buckingham, it was his destiny to lead Oxford United back to the second tier. The last time they were in the second tier, he was at the Manor Ground watching them as a supporter. Now from terrace to dugout, he's the man leading them back at this level. Well, this is a league which captivated a nation last season. It was box office. Now for the sequel. The league of never-ending drama, ready to light up this country again, to change lives again. What does it have up its sleeve this time? Norwich City get us underway at the Kassam Stadium, the first time that this stadium has hosted second-tier football. And Josh Sargent immediately getting involved for Norwich. And Oxford asked a question early on. And Andy Hinchliffe, I forgot to say, I've missed you.
Have you really? Oh, I've missed you as well, I have to say that, don't I? But another cracking game in prospect here. We saw last night at Blackburn and Preston. Sides really going at each other right from the off, right from the start of the season. Let's hope we get a similar story here today. But Oxford deserve to be in the Championship. Can they settle quickly?
It's been a long summer without you, my friend. Kenny McLean looking to step in for Norwich, who went from toxic to top six last season, but then David Wagner was shown the door after Norwich were toppled by Leeds in the playoffs. Potentially, even if Norwich City gone all the way in the playoffs, that may have happened anyway. I felt the time was right to change the style of play, change the pathway for younger players to come through and go down that route again, and Johannes Torup was the man that they called for from Nordsjælland in Denmark.
Yeah, he's only 35, he's only been a head coach for 18 months or so, but vastly experienced, been coaching in his 20s, so over a decade of coaching experience. He's a positive coach, front foot coach, wants young players to get in the team as well. But the challenge will be to get Norwich into the playoffs. The Norwich fans will expect that, but with Sara leaving and Rowe looking to leave, it's going to be difficult.
Well, ball slipped through by Bennett. Angus Gunn with the decision to come, and Norwich have survived for now. Here's Bennett again, the experienced left-back to Brannigan. Bennett once more.
It's good to see Oxford looking to turn Norwich around as well. Lots of sides do play some good possession football across the face of their opponents, but at times just turn a back four around, get them running back towards their own goal.
There's Elliot Moore. Now Goodrum, who is a winger by trade but was moved into a more central position by Des Buckingham last season towards the end of the campaign, but in pre-season he's been out playing wide again, albeit Des Buckingham sees his future as a central midfielder.
Yeah, that's been that injury to Owen Dale, who normally play out on that right-hand side. There's other options as well that Des Buckingham has brought into the club, but Goodrum is versatile enough to play centrally or out wide.
That's Stacey. Rodriguez seemingly being held. The referee has played the advantage. Here's Goodrum. Goodrum goes in low, and no takers. Harris was waiting. Somehow it didn't go in.
Well, Harris seemed to be slightly ahead of the ball. The offside flag would have ruled it out anyway, but positive start from Oxford. Getting the ball down, getting bodies up the pitch, getting some width as well. And that first touch from Goodrum actually takes the ball wide. He's never going to score from there, so the cross is the right thing to do, but the officials got it absolutely right. As the ball comes in, Harris is ahead of that defensive line, so it shouldn't have counted.
Andrew Kitchen is the referee here today. Oxford have made a bright start to life back in the second tier after their 25-year wait.
I suppose you have that option when you get promoted. Do you sit behind the ball and just see what teams have to offer? But you're at home. A positive feeling, momentum after promotion. So step onto your opponents. Doesn't matter who they are. Take the game to them. And Oxford have done exactly that from the kick-off.
They may well feel that there could be a bit of disarray about Norwich City in terms of what's happened with Johnny Rowe this morning. He arrived with the team at the hotel yesterday. It was only 20 minutes before the team meeting today that he had his meeting with Johannes Torup and basically ruled himself out of this. Speculation that Marseille made a bid last night. We think they did make a bid last night, by the way. Leeds United being linked as well. But Johannes Torup having to deal with that. From Johnny Rowe's point of view, I guess he'll say he doesn't want to be injured if a big move, a life-changing move potentially for him is on the horizon. But difficult for the Norwich City new head coach, but the Norwich City fans to take.
He handled it in the right way. I think Torup had a word with the player. Player said, I'm not right. You can't play him. It's about the team. The coach is thinking about the game, the team. Yes, Rowe is an outstanding player. You want him playing. If he's not right, you can't stick him in.
There's Rodriguez. Driving for that byline and away by Hanley, but Oxford have started brightly here, taking the game to Norwich.
You see how high up the pitch they're squeezing as well, stepping onto Norwich, forcing them back.
There's Brannigan. Goodrum will pick up the baton here for the home team. There's Vauxhall stepping forward. Harris in the middle over his head and away by Stacey.
Yeah, Vauxhall is a really important signing for Oxford. He's vastly experienced himself. He knows that role inside out, that deep lying role, but he frees up Rodriguez, frees up Brannigan. So at times those two can step forward and become extra attacking players because Vauxhall is in the team.
Here he is again. Goodrum looking to get involved once more. Callum Doyle intervening. Another loan out for Callum Doyle, who won the championship title with Leicester last season, had a few injuries to deal with in the last campaign, but still highly regarded by Manchester City.
He's a very good player, very good defender, left-sided as well, can play as a centre-half and a full-back. That's crucial for a coach to have that versatility, that balance.
Chance for Norwich here to ask a question of Oxford United, and they forced the corner.
That's brilliant tracking of the attack from Elliot Moore. He was absolutely outstanding all season for Oxford at Wembley alongside Kieran Brown. The pair of them, brilliant. He just appreciated the danger there. The on-rushing midfielder stepped across with a timely challenge.
Well, they were prolific at set pieces last season with Norwich City, scoring 20 goals from them, the second most in the division. They've since lost set-piece coach Andrew Hughes, who headed off to Leicester. Stanley arriving from Brighton to take up that particular role. Doyle is in the middle, Moore doing the defending for Oxford.
That's a wicked ball in, flat, pacey. Keeper can't come and deal with it. So your big centre-half has to get his head on it, and Moore did a brilliant job of flicking that ball away. Used the pace that's on the ball to flick it away to safety.
Marcelino Nunez ready to hurl this inside the Oxford box. Looking to take command again, he did. That's Sargent. He's dropped into a decent position for Sainz, although plenty of bodies in his way. That's Poheta.
I'm sure it was Brannigan that got the block in. That was such a timely intervention.
There's McLean as Norwich look to settle down into this contest. This is Hanley. Norwich will be a back three with the ball. Callum Doyle stepping in to make that third centre-back. Kenny McLean not stepping into that defensive line like he used to. That's one change that's been made by Johannes Torrup.
Yeah, they do that to try and get Jack Stacey up the pitch down the right-hand side to provide the width.
Moved on by Gibbs, there's Doyle. Sainz again in the middle, and once again it's Moore who puts a full stop to it, but Norwich just beginning to gain some ground in this contest now.
Yeah, getting a foothold, but again, defensive positioning from Elliot Moore, outstanding.
Fastnack forward here. Well, he was called in this morning to replace Jonathan Rowe in the starting 11. There's Bennett. Carried out the play by Kenny McLean.
Yeah, the ball did go out, but it was really good defensive set-up there from Norwich, where they stepped into the Oxford half. Wasn't easy for Oxford to play out. They should really have retained possession there.
Poheta. Stacey getting the better of him. There's Bennett. Hanley and Duffy in conversation. Duffy takes charge and finds Kenny McLean, but Norwich are always on the back foot there, and McLean tries to win it again, but he's lost out, and there's Brannigan. Goodwin. Norwich appealing for offside, which the fans are shouting for too, but the assistant referee keeps his flag down. There's Bennett. Now Shami Poheta.
Well, the problems for Norwich, they're starting with shade of his header back into central midfield. Could have gone back to his goalkeeper, trying to head it down to Kenny McLean. It was a risky header, and they lost the ball.
Yeah, I think Graham Hanley, by the looks of it, was demanding that Shane Duffy would go back to Angus Gunn. Not many people don't listen to Graham Hanley, but Shane Duffy decided not to. There's Bennett. Now Moore. That's Vaux. Goodwin. Duffy stepping across, but he couldn't get to Rodriguez. Rodriguez pulling it back, and Hanley takes charge. There's Sargent. Nicely worked that by Oxford, but Norwich managed to deal with it. Nunez hunted down by Brannigan. There goes Harris. Poheta's made an intelligent run into the box, and Gunn was guarding his near post. It's Poheta again, and too much on it that time, but Norwich were opened up.
Yeah, the opportunity arises from Oxford stepping onto Norwich, stepping onto Nunez. Great challenge from Brannigan. There's just nobody in the box really for Harris to pick out. It's a clever pass, but the keeper, Gunn, has got his angles right. It's not going to be beaten at that near post, and the second cross is way too heavy, but good movement off the ball, but good pressure on the ball. When Norwich had it, you know, they forced the mistake, got the ball back high up the pitch.
Well, that's one thing that Des Buckingham did change when he walked through the doors here in November of last year. He wanted Oxford to get higher up the pitch, be more aggressive with their press high. That was in League One. He admits he's had to adapt at times, and you have to know when to adapt. and just step away slightly from maybe what you want to do for the good of the team. We saw that during their playoff campaign.
Yeah, I think when you step up a division, you're presumably not going to be the team you were in League One, because the sides in the Championship won't allow you to play in that way. So, at times maybe it will work, at times you have to be adaptable. There has to be a plan B, plan C, find a way to win. I think Ipswich, again, were absolutely brilliant at that. Yes, they had a defined way of playing, but they adapted to get results time and time again.
More looking for Puerta, away by Stacey, although into a central position where it's tidied up by Kenny McLean. There's Nunez. Now Stacey. McLean again. Nunez. Sargent has made the offer here, and the goalkeeper had come away from home, and Cumming had to deal with it. And the hand of apology goes up from Long to his goalkeeper. They got themselves into real trouble here.
But it shouldn't have been a problem. I think Long is just expecting the goalkeeper to be on the edge of his 6-yard box. I'm going to nod it back towards you. He's always looking at the ball. He's no idea really where his keeper is, and they're lucky to escape.
Sargent waits at the far post. Boyle forward again. Referee with plenty to keep an eye on here.
Yeah, Oxford United defensively from this set piece, they've got some man-for-man marking going on. There's some zonal marking as well. The big centre halves have been freed up in Brown and Moore. They're looking to attack the ball. Other players are picking up the Norwich attackers in the penalty area.
Yeah, the bigger players marking the zones, the smaller players, the disruptors. Dropped here to Kenny McLean. Stacey, McLean again. By McLean, and the header from Hanley, no problems at all for Cumming.
Yeah, from the initial corner, it was Kieran Brown who got his head on it. Exactly what I was talking about there, with having those bigger players in zonal areas who are going to attack the ball. You have to worry about being up against an opponent. They're freed up to attack it, and Brown did well to clear.
They weren't the biggest team physically last season in League One, Oxford, which is why they kind of had to be clever when they were marking the opposition at set pieces to disrupt them. It's also one of the reasons why Sam Long started the playoff final against Bolton, to add his physicality to it. Forward by McLean, but straight through to Cumming. Well, that's loose, and this could be a problem, but Sainz strikes it straight at Moore as Vaux breathes a huge sigh of relief. Goodrum, Harris in the middle. That's Brannigan, an awkward one. Puerta trying to bring the ball under his spell against his old club. There's Brown.
I think Will Vaux will be breathing a sigh of relief. It's such a poor pass. He's played it straight to Sainz, but Sainz didn't do enough with the ball. He made it pretty easy for Elliot Moore to get the block in.
Vaux again.
Well, Oxford are brave in possession. They leave their two centre-halves on the ball. They push the full-backs up. Vaux will come in and help them out. But if you give the ball away cheaply in these types of areas, especially with Norwich pressing you, could prove costly.
Well, there's Buckingham, like his counterpart Johannes Torup, wants to play a possession-based game, but as we mentioned before, adapt when you have to, but he knows it could be a bumpy ride at times, doing this in the Championship.
Well, Oxford backed themselves to play out from the back. It was just a really poor pass. I think he's aiming for Elliot Moore. It's a poor pass. You see with Sainz here, he doesn't really move the ball. He's just travelling in a straight line. He's travelling straight at Elliot Moore. So Elliot Moore doesn't have to do anything, just get in the way, simple as that, and I think Sainz makes it very easy for him.
Turned down a new deal at Sheffield Wednesday in the summer, Will Vaughs. He just didn't feel that things were right for him to continue at Hillsborough, even though he was settled. And he said, had things been right, then he would have stayed. But he's decided to move to Oxford United and take up their offer of their deal. There's Duffy. McLean. Duffy again. McLean once more. Everything going through him right now for Norwich. Fastnacht to Stacey. Nunez. Nunez again.
Well, Johannes Torrett wants his team to dominate possession, but they're going to have to be patient. They have to play really slick. 1-2 touch football if they are to break down what is a pretty stubborn Oxford defence so far.
Foul on Harris. But yeah, his Nordsjælland team last season in Denmark did have the most possession in the top division, 56%. Also a young team as well, a bit of experience down the span of the team, but apart from that was the youngest team in the Danish top division.
Yeah, having the ball or having the bulk of possession is one thing, it's where you have it. Get it into the opposition half, get it into the final third, the most dangerous area on the pitch, that's where you want your most touches.
Quaheta linking up with Brannigan. Quaheta's continued his run on this side of the pitch. The ball is switched to Goodrum on the far side. 3 in the box here for Oxford. Goodrum, and again Norwich do the defending.
That's a brilliant switch of play. They're using the flanks so effectively, Oxford, with Quaheta down the left-hand side and Goodrum down the right. Wonderfully weighted pass from Brannigan. So yeah, Callum Doyle never gets close enough really to affect Goodrum at all. He's then banking on defenders behind him, cutting out the cross. Doyle has to get closer, tighter.
More weight to attack it. Norwich bodies tumbling in there. Moore does get onto it, but a looping header over the top.
Well, it's a free header, but there's far too much flight on the ball, too much air on it. He's running away from goal as well. It's the outswinger. You're just never going to score from there. You're just looking really to keep it alive. You've got to whip that ball in. Yes, an away swinger, but keep it flat and pacey. Keep it on the edge of the 6-yard box. Give Moore something to attack.
Oxford attacking the Andy Hinchliffe Friends stand at the end, away to our left. No one there. This unique stadium, 3-sided. Norwich playing out from the back. It's Nunez who smuggles it through to Gibbs, and now Norwich are out. What can they come up with here? Stacey demanding the ball on this side of the pitch. He was the intended target. Bennett in the way, bit of a wayward header, but helped out by Brown, who was fouled.
The bravery there of Kieran Brown. It is such a poor header from Joe Bennett. He has to really launch himself into that challenge, and does ever so well to get his head on it, but good work from Nunez there. They're under pressure, Norwich. He was on the half turn, he got them out. It's just a poor crossfield pass because the opportunity was there. Oxford had lots of players caught high up the pitch.
Given away by Cumming, who does normally have a really good passing range. Does the job with his hands that time. And the quick release. There's Bennett. Quaheta, who is quick, is on his way. He's not that quick.
You know, with Oxford playing out from the back in the way that they are, it's vital that coming the goalkeeper and Vokes, the holding midfielder, they don't give the ball away cheaply, because Norwich are stepping onto them. There's 5 or 6 bodies in the Oxford half, so you can't afford to give the ball away cheaply.
Doyle. There's Duffy. Stacey the target again, but the ball has crept out.
They're just really forcing the issue. They just need to keep that ball moving, make 4 or 5 more passes before they try and be expansive. They're just forcing the issue and getting it wrong.
No messing about from Kieran Brown. That's Duffy. Into Kenny McLean. Brannigan. All those longs scurrying forward. Goodwin. Brannigan. One picks up again. Poeta trying to get to it. Stacey back defending, making sure he didn't.
That's great positioning from Jack Stacey, goal side of his man. He's the final defender, so he has to get round ahead of Poeta. Once again, when they get the ball out wide, whether it be a wide midfielder or a fullback getting forward for Oxford, causing problems with that delivery into the box.
Looks like an in-swinger here from Will Vokes. Moore is at the far post. A goal scorer the last time Oxford played competitively here in the playoff semi-final against Peterborough. Vokes. Moore was the target. It was Duffy who got to it. Stacey looking to lead the breakout for Norwich. Couldn't link up there with Sainz because Bennett was on his toes.
Once again, the aggression off the ball from Oxford, noticeable.
Moore. Here's Goodrum again. Really come to the fore in the last couple of seasons, Tyler Goodrum. Bennett. Stacey. Brown again. There's McLean. Brannigan buzzing around him. Hanley. This is where Johannes Torre wants his players to be brave on the ball, be courageous, trust in each other, and play around an Oxford team which is trying to press them. Fastnacht in a pocket of space. Sainz in the middle. Stacey's closing in. Poeta beat him to the punch, and he had to.
Yeah, because of the way the Norwich shape changes from a back 4 to a back 3, they can push Stacey on, and Fastnacht can go wandering. And that's what he does here. He goes from right to left, causes problems, gets away from defenders. Really diligent defending from Poeta, getting back. If he doesn't get back there, Stacey can take that ball down and get a shot in.
Well, he's had to play left back a few times, Shemi Poeta. He said it's not really for him, but there's a passage of play which shows you maybe it is.
It wasn't really for me, and I played there for 15 years.
Fair point. I think we'd all agree. It's a deep corner. And the header from Fastnacht. No real problems for Cumming in the Oxford goal.
It's a poor header. You're not going to score from this angle, so just keep it alive, head it back across the box. Is that what he's trying to do? He just gets it all wrong. Oh, Oxford are out passing Norwich. It's where they're getting the ball to as well. Talked about it earlier with Torrup, where he wants possession high up the pitch in the opposition half, in the final third. That's where you cause most problems, and that's where Oxford are doing better than Norwich in getting that ball into those areas more often.
Column here for Shemi Poeta. Just calling Nunez and Brannigan towards him. That looks like down below us, Shemi Pohet is okay to carry on. A handshake between Nunez and Brannigan, and a message of I'll see you again shortly.
That central area is an aggressive one. Rodriguez in there, Brannigan, Nunez, McLean, they're all at it.
Brannigan, Nunez with the challenge. Brannigan spun out of trouble. There's Bennett. Now Brown. Harris will try and put the pressure on Hanley here, and he has done. Hanley's got the ground. It's Harris. Mark Harris! This is what Oxford United have been waiting for. What this city has been waiting for. They've waited a generation, but they have a goal back in the second tier. And the sheer hard work and endeavour of Mark Harris to force the error, and he fired home.
Well, I mentioned earlier in the game that Oxford are more than happy to turn Norwich around defensively. Yes, they can play good football across the face of that Norwich defence, but time and again they've just played balls like this. This is not a long hoof forward, this is a long, accurate pass. It puts defenders under pressure, and as it bounces, Hanley's got to deal with it. I'm not sure what he's trying to do, but Mark Harris is a workhorse up front. Yes, he scores goals, but he harries defenders, causes them problems. There is some contact, it's not enough for a foul, and then he keeps his composure. A bit of luck and it ends up in the back of the net, but it's that forward ball causing problems at the back for Norwich, and then Harris's willingness to chase it down, be ready, be there when the mistake is made. And it's no more than Oxford deserve. They made a really positive start to life in the Championship, and they've got that key opening goal.
19 goals last season. Now he is doing it in the Championship, where he's played before during his Cardiff City days. But there was such a reliance on him last season, and you're right, Andy, what he does, not just the goals, but his work, his clever work rate too.
There's my old Everton teammate Craig Short on the coaching staff at Oxford. I talked to him about Mark Harris and said, what about his goals? And he said, what about his work rate? How he harries defenders. He is tireless.
Oxford's first second-tier goal since the final day of the 98-99 season, when they were at the Manor Ground and they beat Stockport 5-0. They had to win by 4 that day and hope results elsewhere went their way. They won by 5, the results did not go their way, and Oxford United were relegated. Now they're back, and they're in front here against Norwich City. They have their goal, thanks to Mark Harris.
Well, Grant Hanley clearly should have dealt with that forward ball better, but it's unusual for defenders to have to deal with that type of forward ball, bouncing ball, dropping over your shoulder, running back towards your own goal. You know, in the modern game, normally strikers are all in front of you and, you know, playing little 1-2s around you. So maybe defenders aren't as used to dealing with that type of attack, and maybe that's what caught Hanley out.
Well, Norwich City have already had to take a hit before the game today. What happened with Johnny Rowe, and now they've taken a hit on the pitch. There's Kenny McLean. Duffy. Now Doyle. Sainz runs into trouble. Oxford spring again. It's Harris. Long having to readjust.
Oxford United doing the right thing here, not just resting on that 1-0 lead. They got back on the ball. They're looking to score a second.
Ahead of the target. There's Hanley. Now Duffy. There's Nunez. Looking to free Stacey again down this right-hand side. Gets away from it.
It's a goal worth seeing again, the willingness of Oxford to turn Norwich around. Kieran Brown, this is not just a lump forward hoping something will happen, it's a tactic. It's to get Norwich and their centre-halves moving back towards their own goal. They know Harris is going to chase it down because he works tirelessly, but he's there, he's ready when the mistake is made. There is a bit of contact on Hanley, but it's not consequential. It's not a foul, but he chases that ball and gets his rewards.
Well, Norwich have been conceding some sloppy goals in the pre-season friendlies they've been playing in the build-up to the kick-off. And they're punished there by Harris. And Oxford hungry for more with Ruben Rodriguez.
When you look at Norwich and their rankings last season, their major problems were giving goals away.
Well, there's a chance. A chance that wasn't taken. Will Vauxhall take a game. Angus Gunn apologises to his teammates.
I just wonder how important this miss could prove to be, but again, trying to play out from the back, the press is on. I think Vauxhall will be disappointed he's not hit the target there. He's under no real pressure. Keeper's scampering to get back. Should be wrapping his instep around that, keeping it on target. But again, Norwich trying to play their way out. Oxford know it's coming. They're squeezing them. Really, it should be 2-0 up.
Well, we saw Harmer score for Sheffield United from an error at Deepdale last night. Vauxhall unable to match that particular feat.
I think it was the right choice to try and whip the ball in. You're not going to loft it over the goalkeeper, just try and whip it in towards that far post, but you've got to get the bend on it, and he didn't.
Nunez manages to get away with that. A twitch of the arm as the ball came his way. There's Stacey. McLean, Nunez again. Norwich did have their troubles away from home last season, winning just 24 points. Only 5 teams won fewer. They're on the back foot again here, scoreline-wise, but on the front foot right now with Borja Sainz. Gibbs. Brown will get to it.
And that's why Will Vauxhall is in the team. Defensively, just screen the centre-halves. Players shaping up to get a shot in. Can you get close? Can you get a block in? And he did.
Brannigan. Who did end up playing in the Will Vauxhall position last season, but now that Will Vauxhall is here, Brannigan has been released to play a little bit further forward when Oxford have the ball.
Yeah, but I think at times today and during the season he will drop and make it a central midfield partnership as well, and under the cosh he'll just help out because he's that type of player as well, loves to go forward, he's combative, he's aggressive, can be a good defensive midfielder too.
Kenny McLean. There's Fastnack stepping in field again, but unable to smuggle it through to Sainz and then committing the foul.
Norwich are getting into some decent positions, but just not sharp enough, just a poor pass. Fastnack is causing problems because he's just drifting in field with Stacey providing the width, but just a bit of frustration maybe. He gets there late, steps into Brown. It's not the worst you've ever seen, it's a clear foul though.
Well, dream start for Des Buckingham with his hometown club, leading them back into the second tier. We know his backstory here, that he arrived here initially as a player, then as a coach, but he's also been part of the City football group, working with Manchester City's sister clubs, and that was key for the Oxford hierarchy when they brought him in. The man he replaced has also been part of the City football group in Liam Manning. He was also on the shortlist for the Wales job as well, Des Buckingham, but here he is, still in charge of Oxford.
Anything else? No?
I think that's it. started out at Reading. There's another one. There's Brown.
I think Desborough can be very pleased, not just with the scoreline, but the way his team are performing as well in terms of the amount of possession that they've had. They've dominated the ball, they've got the ball into the opposition box more than their opponents as well, so their all-round performance makes it only right that they're actually one goal to the good.
Rodriguez a step forward here, brought it down beautifully. Able though to evade the clutches of the combination of Hanley and Stacey. Now the break could be on with Sargent to Sainz. Driving more back, Sargent's on the outside, has to readjust. McLean. Gibbs, away by Kieran Brown. Quaheta.
But once again for Norwich, the opportunity to break forward came from an Oxford defensive error. Sam Long just didn't connect with the ball as he looked to play it back in field, and the break was on. Norwich on the edge of the box again got their understanding wrong. The pass was poor, and the attack fizzled out.
Harris. Pouncing upon that error. Here's Rodriguez to Goodrum. Vaux. It's Vaux, kept up by Gunn.
Well, if Quaheta had been ready here, there's an opportunity for him. He's got to anticipate that the goalkeeper might just keep this alive. You see, Jack Stacey has, the defender has, the attacker is caught on his heels.
United playing like they belong here on day one for them back in the Championship. Rodriguez, he was impeded by Gibbs, the referee happy with what he saw.
Once again, it's a longer forward ball. It is a poor header from Grant Hanley. Norwich just about managed to retain possession, but that where they're mixing up their attacking game, Oxford, is causing Norwich a lot of problems.
Callum Doyle into Sainz. Sainz commits the foul, and there's eagerness to win the ball back.
You can stare at the referee as much as you want, it's still going to be a foul, but he's caught wrong side of his man. Again, it's a challenge of frustration, good pressure on him. See, Rodriguez protects the ball ever so well. You're going to foul the man trying to get to the ball, so just stay on your feet. But because you've not been heavily involved in the game, you desperately want to get to the ball, you give a cheap free kick away.
Does have plenty of fire in his belly, does Borja Sainz.
Can sometimes spill over though, can't it?
Quaheta. Vaux, and Gunn will pounce. There's Kenny McLean trying to shake off Harris. Nunez.
Well, Mark Harris has got his goal, but that is not the full story of his involvement in the game. His work off the ball is incredible.
There's Borja Sainz. Dwells up there with him. Sainz finds a side netting.
There's a lack of quality in the final third throughout this first half from Norwich, getting into good positions, making absolutely nothing of them.
Well, he's having to make do without Gabriel Sara. And what he provided for Norwich City in the last couple of seasons. He created the third most chances in the Championship last season, Gabriel Sara, but Galatasaray came calling with a cheque for around about £20 million in the summer, so Gabriel Sara was on his way. It is part of the self-financing model that Norwich City operates with, is that if clubs do come calling and the price is right, then players will be sold. Celtic still after Adam Eder. We know what's happening with Jonathan Rowe in terms of him not being here today after Marseille made a bid last night. Leeds linked with him. Josh Sargent's been linked with a move to MLS. And Ben Napper, Norwich City sporting director, having plenty to deal with right now.
His team haven't played well, haven't been allowed to play well. So impressed with Oxford on and off the ball.
Here they come again, it's long. Harris is in the middle and just had to try and readjust. And couldn't direct it on target in the end, but another opportunity for Oxford United.
And where does it come from? Pressure on the ball, winning the ball back in the Norwich half. Great cross. I just wonder whether Mark Harris, could he just jump and take this ball down? Because the centre-halves have both got drawn underneath the ball. You know, experienced centre-halves. Shane Duffy, Grant Hanley, nowhere near the main striker. Could he have maybe just taken that ball down rather than try and finish it first time? Another good opportunity coming from high pressing.
Nunez, too much on that for Sainz, to the delight of the home fans around here at this sold-out Kissam Stadium. He has plenty to think about.
It's a heart to remember for Oxford, a heart to forget, a heart to learn from. For Johannes Torup, because it hasn't gone well at all. Oxford have swarmed all over them. They deserve to be ahead. Should maybe be even further ahead.
Fastnacht. Brannigan, Stacey will pick up here. Driven in by Stacey, Sainz was waiting, but couldn't execute the finish.
Yeah, you can see what he's looking to do, just control that ball back across goal, just caress it toward the far post, but fighting fire with fire here. Norwich stepping onto Oxford, winning the ball back high up. It's a good cross, it's a decent chance, just doesn't wrap his instep around it, catches it too straight, too cleanly. That's why it goes well wide of the post, but at least a bit of positivity for Norwich.
A few grumbles from the home fans as that goal kick headed straight out of play from Jamie Cumming. Haven't had too much to grumble about around here in the last few months. Brannigan, Nunez, in strongly on Vaux, and the referee blows in favour of the Oxford midfielder.
The referee not even having a word with Nunez, so he's pretty happy with the manner of the challenge. It wasn't a high challenge at all, it was slightly late, but nothing malicious in it whatsoever.
Hanley. There's Bennett. Sargent just came across his path. And Bennett felt the full force of that, and Sargent is yellow carded.
Well, let's just hope this was purely accidental, just a mistimed challenge, clearly a painful one. Hand of apology was up straight away as soon as Bennett heads it. I think Sargent knows what he's doing here as well. He knows he's going to make contact. He's nowhere near the ball. I think it is only a yellow, nothing more.
Well, Bennett's back on his feet as Sargent receives that booking.
Well, it is only the first half of the first game, but it's pretty clear the way that Oxford play, the quality that they have, they work on and off the ball. They look pretty comfortable so far in the Championship. I suppose the only disappointment for Des Buckingham is his team are 2 or 3 up. They've dominated the half so much.
Years in the making to get back to the second tier for Oxford United, and they're making up for lost time right now. Mark Harris with the goal in the first half, which gives them the lead after a mistake by